Thank you for watching Policy and Prejudice. My name is Chris Stevenson. This past week was a good week if you're rich, white, and in trouble. It was a good week to get out of trouble. First of all, we had a situation here in Buffalo where a doctor was acquitted of murder charges. This was a very controversial trial that went on for the last several weeks. The trial of Dr. James Corasanti. Corasanti, almost a year ago, hit a young girl named Alex Rice. Alex Rice, R-I-C-E. Alex spelled A-L-I-X. She was returning home from her job at Bocce's Pizza, skating on a longboard along the side of the road. She was hit by a drunk guy driving a BMW. Hit pretty hard. Her body flew maybe 100 feet or 100 yards or so into the air. Her head was severed internally, it was said. Just a horrible, horrible incident. Terrible accident. What made it much worse is Dr. Corasanti, the old drunk guy in the car, tried to get away. He claims later on that he didn't know he hit it. He felt maybe he hit something, but he didn't know it was a person. People pass by that spot. They drive down that road all the time without hitting anything. And then Miss Rice evidently is in the habit of returning home on that route without anybody hitting her. It wasn't any fog or anything, but it was the dead of night, around 11:20 or so. Just terrible. This man was intoxicated. He was loaded, just returning from a country club where him and some of his rich buddies were downing a few. You know, they say 5 hours later he was still drunk. What saved him? A lot of people felt that the jury, in Buffalo, rigged juries, they're reality. They are around the nation, but we got lawyers in Buffalo that know how to pick these guys. A lot of Buffalo's best lawyers are not strong trial lawyers, but they are strong jury lawyers, jury picking lawyers, jury selection lawyers, preemptory process lawyers. That's what they do. Once you know how to do that, you don't have to be a strong trial lawyer. In spite of very good evidence in the case against Corasanti, the jury didn't want to hear it. They made up their own thing. They said, okay, we admit that Corasanti was inebriated. He was drunk. He was intoxicated, rather. But that wasn't the cause for his hitting her. What did they do? Of course, they blamed the victim. That's the new white juror nullification. They said that somehow she must have skated in front of him, skated in his path, or whatever the case may be. They made up some excuse, and gave out a lot of inferences, whatever, as to her behavior, not his. This man was also texting while he was driving. It was just a terrible thing. On a national scale, you have John Edwards. John Edwards, one time a presidential candidate, having to drop out the race. Sooner or later, the National Enquirer discovers that he was having an affair. The major media did not pick up on this until much later. Turns out that he was seeing a woman who was hired by his staff to shoot a documentary. I guess he got the wrong idea of what this documentary was supposed to be about. Before long, he got her pregnant, and he uses $1 million of his campaign funds to cover up the affair. Now, I don't know about you, but campaign funds are under strict rules. You just don't use. You can't. They're not to be used for personal use, plain and simple. It seems like John Edwards' Political Campaign Action Committee, or PAC, P-A-C, became his Pussy-PAC, because that's what he spent that $1 million of his campaign funds on. He set this girl up in an apartment or a home or whatever, even promising to marry her after his wife, who had, is well known, she had cancer that had passed away. Promising that he would marry her. Well, his trial was this week also, just this past week, and he was ruled not guilty. Matter of fact, he got one not guilty, and the rest of the charges pretty much along the same as Dr. Corasanti, was a hung jury. That is complete ridiculousness. Both those juries need to have been removed, really, and the trial start over again. It should be a new trial, especially in the case of Dr. Corasanti. I hear there might be anyway. John Edwards, no doubt. These men did very vile things. I don't have to go into detail about John Edwards. John Edwards even tried to get one of his aides to do a fake DNA test in order to make it look like he was the father of this woman's daughter. This woman goes by the name of, I think I wrote it down here somewhere, but I can't find it right now. But I don't have to tell you all how strict the rules are regarding these. Just a bad situation. So like I said before, it looked like it was White Week. If you got money, you're rich, you're white, whatever, you can do whatever you want, from kill someone to getting into an adulterous affair if you're a high-profile official, and get away with it. This doesn't vote for good, because it says something about the mentality of a lot of the whites who are selected for juries. There was a time when you would do time. Okay? There was a time when a DWI guy would go to prison regardless of whether he's black or white if he hit someone, especially if that person died. There was a time that would happen. Things seem to be changing now, and I think the Obama climate is indirectly working on the minds of a lot of whites today and making them feel powerless to the point where they just don't want to send another white person, a fellow white person or whatever, away for a long time to do hard time. You saw hints of this even with John Benet Ramsey. So eventually, this is what's going on. It's a bad thing, but we'll keep you abreast of it. My name is Chris Stevenson. Thank you for watching Policy and Prejudice. Have a good week.